gentlemen. It is a Thursday, and I am going to do a little live streaming while I do some painting. Got some orcs I need to do. Of course, these orcs have all had their normal orky heads removed and replaced with pig-faced orc heads because that's what I do. But not just orcs to paint today. Right now I'm doing some primering, and I primered below my desk because this Vallejo primer, unlike any other kind of paint, if you're like not careful, it will sling across the table, and then miniatures you've already painted will have white specks all over them, and that sucks really bad. But what I have right here that I'm going to paint up, I might actually do like an extra good job on this guy just because. And I have a few of them. Let's hold him up and see if I can get him to focus in at all. That's right. It's a little Pomeranian. So, yeah, I 3D printed up a few of those little munchkins. I also printed up a Tessalum, which is a flying cat. It's a Slavic thing, apparently. The whole flying cat thing. But I saw the STL and I'm like, come on. I mean, that's just cool. Now, I shrank mine down. The original thing would have been much bigger than this, but I shrank it down to actual cat size because, it's flying cat. Now, could this be a good familiar for somebody or just a friend, a pet? I don't know. I don't know how intelligent these flying cats are, but I'm pretty excited about it. So, and I know that there are numerous people at my game table. See, gotta be careful because if I prime above the table, up, I'm ignoring chat over here. Let's go to chat. Daniel, hey, what's up? Happy Thursday, Daniel. And I hope you are doing very well. I wonder if my brother will pop in. I think he will, though, because I'm actually going to send him the link directly. And if he doesn't, I'll just like guilt him and like talk about how, like a good brother would do it and stuff like that. Just be a real gilder. And we'll see if we can get him. Okay, something from my pops. What's this say? Oh, that was like weeks ago. Okay, so tell him to calm down. And then let's see. Shirtina Sherry Morrow McMullen. I don't even know who that is. It's like I got these people on here, and it's like I don't even know who you are, man. Who even are you? Why are you sending me messages? Nudes. It's like I don't even know who you are. But anyway. So let's see. Hey, Shark. Deckard bought some Lankmar novels. I think that you will like them, Deckard. I mean, I base that only on the fact that I liked them. They're really good. They're really weird. Like the first story you'll read will probably be about Fafford escaping the North. Or is that the second story? I don't remember, but yeah. And then the two of them become best friends and they run around and get into lots of trouble in the city of Lankmire, which is basically a magical version of Rome. And it's just really cool. It's really cool. They run around, they do cool stuff. They get involved with the different gods of Lankmire, which for the most part, none of them are good. Now, one of the old D&D gods actually comes from Lankmire, and that was Isaac of the Jug. And he was basically the god that he was like a really good the Snow Woman is the first story. So there you go. Isaac is basically like the good guy that was tortured to death and everything like that. So that's a Lankmire god, but then you've got like Tycho, the goddess of poison, and then there's like a spider god. Then you have the actual gods of Lankmire, which are like gigantic skeletons that every now and then rise up and wander around smacking the shit out of people with their maces or whatever. I mean, it's a whole thing, It is a whole thing, but it is, I mean, if you're a D&D fan, then the Lankmire series is like right up your alley, I think. Because, it's basically, the Snow Women. It's pretty much the whole group of adventurers and rogues running around doing, adventuring, trying to get money, trying not to go to prison, stuff like that, Ringworld, I have only ever read one story out of the Ringworld series. I thought was okay. It was the one where somebody kidnapped Santa Claus or whatever. Or am I thinking not Ringworld? I'm thinking the one where the whole world's on the back of a turtle. Oh, damn, I don't know. But yeah, Larry Nevin's Ringworld created Nevinrall's disc for Magic the Gathering. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
Slavic and Asian type characters. Well, that would be everything on the other side of the Caucasus Mountains, or everything south of the Ukrainian plains. I mean, Dagestan, Kazakhstan, Armenia. What's the other one that starts with an A? That's fighting with Armenia. Azerbaijan. I mean, those are all just weird blends of Slav and Asian.
Yeah. Even Hungarians have a lot of Asian.
Like Chechens are Slavs, technically, or Caucasus people, but they're hardcore Muslims. So it's like their blood is the same as the Christians to the north, but their culture is 100% like the Ottomans. It's really, that whole region is so interesting. And that's why I kind of got away from, at least in my homebrew games, just doing the, Western Europe, blah, blah, blah. Because, I love my Western and Northern European roots, but after 30, 40 years, that shit just gets old. Discworld's the one I'm thinking about. Yeah, Discworld's the one where somebody kidnaps Santa Claus. Like all hell is breaking loose, and there's the Pig King or whatever they call him that does this thing. And there was like this little like hobbit guy that was hanging out at the docks, but the guy was like 5 times as strong as a normal man, and he's running around with a crowbar and shit like that. I mean, of course, this is from like a decade ago when I read Discworld, but I do remember for fantasy, it was pretty out there. There was like a lot of weird ass shit going on, a lot of weird administration, and yeah, very different religions, cultures. I mean, you don't even, if you want to be really hardcore like the Alte, you don't even got to worry about cultures, or not cultures, religions, because a lot of the Altai people are shamanistic. And shamanistic is not necessarily a religion as we see it. It's more of a respect for the spirits that live within everything in nature, every rock, every tree, every stream, even every mountain. What's up, Bruce? Bruce, how you doing, homie?
Oh, getting some primering done on a Reaper structure that I unboxed about a month ago.
I'm getting primering done on some figures myself.
You know, I'm starting to not like Reaper so much because they got this neat little detail figurine style now, but you need to have like apple barrel paint available to slop on there first for the fucking primer to stick. Otherwise, you've got your $3 or $4 paint, and you're starting to paint on it, and it's just sliding right off. It ain't sticking. Yeah, it's the Crypt.
Yeah, I got 2 of those. Did you build it where you can open it?
This one here, you can't open these. These are the Bones 6 Crypts, not the Bones 3.
Oh yeah, the ones I got, if you build them right, you can
open
the
up
whole
the top.
roof will pop right up.
Yeah, I've got that in the other room.
Yeah, I used it for Frostgrave a lot because one of the main adventures in Frostgrave, you have to put the crypt in the center of the table, and every round a skeleton appears at each of the cardinal directions of the crypt.
See,
and will just wander around until it gets line of sight on a person's miniature, and then attack it. And they only got 1 hit point, but they still hit hard, you know? And the last time we played that scenario, it was me and 2 other players, and we ended up calling a truce between our gangs of raiders. And we're like, look, guys, we need to handle these skeletons or we're all going to die. And they're like, yeah, I agree. So we stopped going after each other. We made a deal. You can have that treasure on that side. I'm taking this treasure. You have that treasure. But I mean, I'd already lost half of my warband by the time we started saying, hey, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, they got 1 hit point. So any hit will kill them, but they still, you know, hit you just as hard as
they'll smack you around and call you Shirley.
Yeah, they'll still run up and put a beating on your ass. So it's like, yeah. And we all started out like, you know, obviously trying to wipe each other out because Frostgrave's very much like Mordheim. So we started out like, oh, I'm going to kill my opponent's gang, right? And then after these skeletons just kept popping up, it was like,
Bear's over there like, what the fuck, guys? Come on.
Well, it's like a role playing.
Bear's working. I have so much fucking writing to do tonight that I had to cancel my Star Trek game. I'm taking a break just to talk to you guys.
Oh, but, you know, well, good. Hopefully we'll say something that will help inspire you so you can get that stuff done.
I'm already inspired. I just got to get it done. But thank you. I appreciate the sentiment. No, I got to fucking do all this and get this done. I got a long weekend. I got tomorrow, the weekend, and Monday off. So I have a lot of writing to do and get it done. And I got to get it done. I got to work tomorrow.
Just try to have fun.
Well, that's the goal, right? But it's also, you know, you got to get some product out there to make some more money because fuck it, I need money.
Yeah. I had 8 hours work today and I have a busted truck. Hopefully they can get the exhaust filter cleaned out. Otherwise, I have to use the other truck, which I don't want to do because it doesn't have air conditioning.
Yeah, I remember you saying something about that.
We used that truck today, and it got me around for 3 stops, and then it started acting funky. So I got it to the mechanic, and I waited. And the boss is like, "You want to go to work now? If you leave now, you can go to work at midnight." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go to work at midnight when it's fucking cool, dude. I'm sorry."
Well, I mean, driving around Texas this time of the year with no AC, that doesn't sound like a whole lot of fun, to be
That's
honest.
what you get for work living in Texas, sir.
I mean, I have certain expectations. If I'm going to be in Texas, I'm going to have air conditioning.
Yeah, that's kind of a thing.
The boss is going to get that eventually fixed on his truck, but because I've taken over as the primary driver for him, he doesn't work in that truck so much.
Right.
So only on the days where he gets behind the wheel do you hear him complain, "Man, I really need to get my AC fixed." Dude, it's fucking summer for 8 months down here. You figure it out.
And then, of course, whenever he's not driving the truck, it's out of mind,
It's out of mind, completely out of mind.
I know because I'm the same way. I'm not knocking him.
No, I'm not either.
I've had a car where like the AC went out, but since I didn't drive a whole lot, I'd be like, damn, the next time I need to get that AC fixed. And I wouldn't drive for like 2 weeks, and I'd just be like, whatever. And then my Central Asian is because there's tropes and plus the players are not as familiar. Yeah, that's the best thing is, and how you doing, Ultra American? And like I was saying, Shark, if you're dealing with the culture similar to the Altai people, they're shamanistic. So it's not even like a religion. They believe that every single thing has a spirit. And by appeasing these spirits, you stay on the good side of the mountains and the forests. And, so there's a lot of that. And then if you're talking pre-Christian Slavic culture, then they do have a couple of good gods, but mainly it's just a billion demons that they have to either like fend off or placate or otherwise get, turned into freaking flashlights for these demons. I mean, I guess Belobog is good, the god of light. He's good. Perun is, maybe. A lot of people think Perun is the Slavic version of Thor, but he is not. Yes, dear. What'd you order?
From that new Italian place, I got a meatball parm.
Oh, nice.
And a sausage parm for us to try. It's an Italian sausage style.
Nice.
And then they have calamari
and
an antipasto salad. So we have kind of a selection.
I am very surprised, but pleased.
Why are you surprised?
Because I didn't expect you to order food.
You know.
Shush. I am pleased. Like a samurai. I am pleased. Now we'll eat sushi off of your naked body. That's actually from a Clerks cartoon.
Actually, that's from Showdown Little Tokyo, where Brandon Lee and Dolph Lundgren are talking about the fucking Yakuza guys, and Brandon Lee gives them this inspiring speech. He's like, so let's get these assholes, put them in the ground, and then go back in there and eat some sushi off some naked chicks. So that's where Clerks is referenced.
Which is good.
Yeah, there you go.
In the Clerks animated series, Randall misspelled mail order bride.
Oh, God.
And got a Japanese mail order bride, but it was a dude.
ALE? Yeah.
And the dude shows up and he's immediately like, I'll be home from factory at 5. House must be clean. Dinner on table. And Randall's like, wait a minute. And he's like, go talk to it back. And then he leaves. And then it's like 3 weeks later and Randall's dressed up in a kimono. And the Japanese man comes in and he checks the thing. He's like, house very clean. I am pleased. And Randall's like, thank you, Tagashi-san. And then later it shows him eating sushi off of Randall's chest. It's like, and then they're like, yeah. And they're like, didn't that guy end up getting sent back to the factory in Japan? He's like, yeah. And then there's this moment where Randall kind of looks up and he's like, I miss you, Tagashi-san, wherever you are. And it plays this really sad Japanese, like,
Yeah.
you know,
Wow. Exactly. Yeah.
it's just like, you know. But the guy rolled in and he's just like taking charge, man. He's like, you will do this.
So Kevin Smith did not do the cartoon, from what you're telling me.
No, he did.
I don't know if he did or not. I know
He did,
whoever
he did.
did do the cartoon, they hated Matt Damon.
No, he did the cartoon. Kevin Smith did it.
Because there's a scene where the two guys are driving down the road in their car and they see Matt Damon walking on the street and they chuck a 64-ounce slushy at him and hit him right in the head. They're like, F you, Matt Damon.
Yeah, no,
But
because
they're
Kevin
huge
Smith-
fans of Ben Affleck. Because
Yeah,
they're
that's
both like,
Ben
Ben
Smith
Affleck was the
fans
bomb
both
in
those
Shadows, yo, or some shit like that.
guys. You were the bomb in what the fuck is that movie? There, Phantoms or whatever it is.
Phantoms or some
Yeah, you were
shit.
the bomb
Yeah,
in Phantoms, Affleck. But no, but they made those jokes and all. Like he's friends with both of them, and the joke is that he adores Ben Affleck because he knows Ben from growing up in New Jersey and putting him in all his movies, giving him his start really in the fucking industry. And he loves Matt. But Matt Damon, if you ever look at anybody who's got that Ben Affleck, Matt Damon friendship, they always pretend to love Ben and despise Matt. It's like a constant running joke in Hollywood, right? Like even the South Park guys, Matt Damon. And Matt Damon saw it and loved it and like laughed his balls off. You know, he was like, that's great.
Even
When
though
they were doing it, he volunteered, he wanted to come voice himself, but they couldn't because of the union rules.
Bear, didn't you tell me the reason Matt Damon become Matt Damon in that show was because the puppet heads
Yeah, the
for
puppet
Matt
didn't-
Damon all got effed up?
Yeah, they did the puppet for Matt Damon and Team America, and it came out of the oven wonky. They were like, he looks retarded. And someone just went, Matt Damon. They're like, fuck it, that's his dialogue moving forward. Every scene, Matt Damon. Fuck, we used to sit around when I was working security in Vancouver, and we'd just be sitting around talking. At one point, I was to go, we're guards. Yeah. We're guards. We're guards.
We're
It was just like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
We're guards. We're guards.
Freaking.
Yeah.
He has a beer commercial now, and it's like Matt Damon and some British guy, and they're eating hot wings, and the British guy's like, so these are buffaloes, huh? And Matt Damon's like, no, they're made out of chicken. They were made in Buffalo, New York. And the guy's like, really? And Matt Damon's just like, just drink your beer, bro. And then that's how the commercial ends. It's just like, just drink your beer.
Matt Damon has a very good sense of humor, same as Ben Affleck for the most part. Ben Affleck gets a little preachy sometimes, but look at the pussy he fucks. He fucks preachy pussy, so it's going to teach him to be preachy, right?
Isn't he still with that fat ass?
No.
Ben Affleck, no, he got back together with J-Lo for a while, and then they split up again.
I thought him and J-Lo split.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. They got together. They split. They were together. They split. He went with Jennifer Garner for a while, and then they split. And I can't remember who was after that. And then he got back with J-Lo for a while. Now they've split
What
again.
a fucking downgrade going from Garner back to J-Lo. Ugh.
You know what? The best meme is the one where it just shows Ben Affleck standing
Smoking?
outside his
Yeah.
apartment smoking, and he just looks beat down.
Yeah.
He's just like, and it's like, man, even people with millions of dollars just wake up sometimes with that feeling like, what the fuck am I even doing? You know, he's just like, ugh. And then there's the one meme, and it's just like Keanu Reeves sitting on a park bench eating like a tuna sandwich or some shit. It's just Keanu Reeves sitting there eating a sandwich in between shots or some shit. And it's like, people loved it because it's like, he's just a normal dude, you know, he's got his bag lunch. He's just sitting there eating a sandwich.
I fucking love Keanu Reeves. I've seen so many things where he's just on a subway and he sees a person that doesn't look like they're enjoying themselves standing on the subway. So he'll get up from his spot. You're going to have my spot. And then he goes and stands somewhere else. And people are like, that's Keanu. Shh. It's okay. He needs to be out in public like this.
There's a story where he was going to take an airplane to some shot and the airplane broke down. So he hired a bus And like everyone else that was taking the airplane to the place, even though they weren't in the movie, he allowed them to, like, he paid for the bus big enough for all of them to go.
Yep.
And it was all on his dime. He didn't ask for anything of it. And
I saw an amazing video this week where they were talking about the value of money and what the effect was compared to us. And they were talking about people who are like multimillionaires like him, but they were getting into Bezos and Musk and their levels of money. But like when they were getting to Bezos and Musk, they were talking about stuff like, buying this house for $500,000 for Elon Musk is like you buying a new TV. You know what I mean? Like that's the effect on it, the impact in the economic.
Yeah, it's not even like a major purchase for him.
It's not a major purchase.
Even got to talk to his wife about it.
Keanu Reeves is full of fucking cash. He's got millions and millions of dollars, right? So for him renting a bus for a bunch of people, probably the same as you renting a car. You know what I mean? Like it's the same impact on his finances.
Right.
So I like that he's the kind of guy who is very generous with his money and tries to make people's lives better. I really respect that. And I will fully say that that's because he spent many years in Canada as a teenager and he learned to be a better person.
I think he still lives in Canada.
No, New York City.
Did he move to New York?
I believe he's in New York City.
I thought for a while he was a Canadian citizen.
I believe he still is. Shadow, JLo was really attractive and still is fairly attractive. She was in a movie where she pilots a battle mech on Netflix called Atlas, I believe. And I didn't see it because I just don't like Netflix. But she's always been really attractive, but she's slid downhill. Like as time has worn on, it's starting to the wall is approaching. Jennifer Garner being a 6, she's always a 6. She's never for me dropped. She might have gotten older, but she still looks good as a 6.
Well, you have to bear in mind, though, Bruce, that Shadow likes the Spanish women.
I get that. I understand that. My loins feel that. I'm here in Thickville in San Antonio, where we don't let aging ESPN commentators come talk shit about the city anymore because we just have a whole troop of fat ass Latinas that go out and take care of business. And God bless those girls.
Yeah.
Well, you got to make your choice in life, right? Big booty goth girls or big booty Latinas,
I would go with the goth girls, but I'm in San Antonio, so I don't have a choice.
See, I'd go with the Latina because she's less likely to cut herself, more likely to cut you, but that's foreplay for them.
But only if you do something to really piss her off. So.
Depends, man. All my buddies who are with Latinas have all had them just irrationally lose their shit one day and be like super aggressive.
Well, one thing though about the Latinas is they, generally speaking, almost always know how to cook.
I have yet to be
big booty goth girls never know how to cook.
There's quite a few Latinas here that don't know how to cook, and it's funny because the Latinas that grew up with good families, like they don't give a shit if they gain like 20 pounds. Like my grandma showed me how to make these flour tortillas, and this is going to get you in my bed and have you stay there. And that's how they are.
Well, yeah. I mean, well, here's the thing. I learned this a while back. Eventually, you're going to get old, and then your priorities are totally going to change. And you're going to stop worrying about certain things and start worrying about other things. So if you want to be happy for the rest of your life, find someone who can cook.
Yeah.
Like the song said, don't worry about certain things because, I mean, yeah, that hot chick that's doing all that crazy shit, that's a lot of fun right now. But you'll be 55 at some point.
Yeah.
And then you'll be more worried about dinner. You'll be like, what's for dinner?
I can go get laid if I want. It's San Antonio or it's a big city. Like if
I would hope so. You got a wife, right?
I have a wife. If my wife's vagina gets medically shut down, I can still go get laid, or I can still go have quiet time for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it takes, and I'll be back. In fact, I'll probably be back happier if I go by myself.
I don't know. I think
this conversation has gotten very, very strange. So let's go back to talking about miniatures. Oh, no, wait. We're talking about Bruce's dick. So we are talking about miniatures. My bad.
Oh, my goodness. That was a good burn.
Good burn, Bear.
You are welcome, sir. It is 82 degrees, 83 degrees in my office right now. And I'm on the top floor, so I'm inheriting all the heat from downstairs.
Right.
Fuck, I can't wait. I'm getting an AC this weekend. My buddy has one he's gonna bring over. And I gotta go buy plexiglass to put in the fucking window with the hole for the vent and all that shit. But yeah.
93 degrees right now in Orlando.
Yeah, it's fucking Orlando. It's supposed to be 93 degrees.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm just letting you know.
In fact, isn't that chilly for this time of year?
It's about average, I guess. You know, you go out.
Hey, Hungar!
Hungar.
Take shots at Bruce.
He's like,
Look at him bragging, going 2 to 3 minutes.
you know why you brag about that? Because you know that there's one time during your day that you'll go for 20 or 30 minutes, and then you have to go again later.
This conversation. What the fuck is this conversation?
Apparently, we're talking about Bruce's ability to lay pipe.
Apparently.
Encores don't need to take as long. That's all I got to say.
Encores don't need to take as long. Okay.
It's just like when you go to a concert. 2 hours for the concert. They don't turn the lights on. You're still cheering. Your band comes out. They play the final song, the best song they ever made. It takes 3.5 to 4 minutes. Then you go home and you're happy.
So anyway, I was really excited to get some 2 ebooks in the mail. That was really nice. I was very happy about that.
Yeah, I saw that. That was cool.
Yeah, some 2 ebooks.
And there's your boy.
Hell, fuck, let's talk about Battletech. Come on, Jesus, anything but Bruce's dick, please.
No, I said there's your boy. He popped in to give you some smooches before he went on about his way.
Who's my boy?
Your cat.
Your fucking
my cat. What the fuck are you talking about? That thing
damn
lives
bastard.
in my arms. What are you talking about?
He like ran up. He kind of
Like
gave
I'm
you the
talking to
nose-to-nose thing,
Come on,
and then he
Carl,
went
tell
on
me a
about his
joke.
way. You know, he's like, "Hey, buddy."
Come on, Carl.
He's like, "I was
Carl.
just thinking about you. I was just thinking about you. Just letting you know."
Look, I know what's going to happen this weekend. I know what's going to happen. I'm going to have a stream with Connell at some point, and Connell's going to start a joke, and then like between the start and the punchline, he gets lost.
I haven't
Connell?
seen Connell in forever.
No way. Connell is like a fucking. His mind is like a steel trap, sir. Connell never ever gets names wrong, uses wrong turns of expression, forgets things as he's speaking. No, sir, I will not. I will not sit here and listen to you besmirch the good name of the Cigar DM, sir.
Trying to summon the bastard.
Well,
Well, I saw that DJ was here for a second. I
Yeah.
haven't seen him in months. I figured the English government might have thrown him in jail for something he said or something.
He had a meme come out, and it offended somebody.
Who?
Dark Knight of Hibernia.
Well, he's in Ireland, isn't he?
Yeah, but I think he's in the northern part. I'm not sure.
Oh, well.
If he's in the southern part, then he probably spent the last month rioting. Because that's what they've been up to.
James, I got to ask you a question.
Ask away.
What is the news service that you use?
Nexanor, Asmongold, occasionally Temple, but not a lot. So pretty much, yeah, I just watch random stuff on YouTube
Okay.
because I don't trust anything on our TV.
All right.
Wow.
I was just curious.
Yeah, Connell's mind is a steel trap, but too bad that trap frickin' rusted.
Yeah, no, his mind is a steel trap. His
mind is a
springs
steel
were made
trap.
out of plastic. That's the problem. So when the trap snapped, the spring shot. You'll never get it going again. But that's neither here nor there.
There's also some Portuguese independent news channels that I watch. Sometimes I'll watch the Hindustan Times.
I watched Instagram.
But you got to bear in mind that everything I watch is biased towards whatever its side is. And Tim Pool, he tries so hard not to be biased that sometimes he is inadvertently biased.
I watch Instagram because that's the only place you can hear Kanye's new song.
You know what? I'm going to tell you something. Kanye's new song is incredibly offensive to a lot of people. However, if you listen to the first verse, he tells you why he did it. Because he
And-
talks about how he's misunderstood on Twitter. They took away his kids. They doxed his ass. They took away a third of his wealth. He can't see his children. I mean, he goes through all of his issues. And then he says that last verse before they start doing the HH thing. He says, if you want me to be the bad guy, then fine. I'm the bad guy.
And it kind of bumps.
Well, I mean, Kanye is crazy, but he's always been kind of talented, at least a little bit in his genre. But I mean, so I listened to the song to listen to it, and I walked away feeling bad for the guy.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, he said some shady shit, maybe, but then he got attacked from every angle, and now he's like owning it. You know what I mean?
So,
He's just like, oh, you call me the Yahtzee? Well, I'm the Yahtzee now. And he appears to be really upset about the fact that they took away his kids and they won't let him see them. And he's pissed. He's upset about that shit.
people have always said that he was a decent dad. Like he'd show up in a fire truck to take his kids to school and stuff so they could have fun.
Right. I mean, the thing people forget is that very few people that have ever been born are 100% anything.
I agree with you, Ultra American TT.
I agree with you, Ultra American. So he's got this whole video where there's like, I don't know, 50 black dudes all saying the HH thing. And he's talking about how all his bros are Yahtzees. But if you listen to the first verse, he's telling you what went on. He feels like he got attacked. He got put into the corner. You know, he got made to be the thing. And now he's like, if you say I'm the thing, I'm the thing. You know what I mean? And I feel it, you know. I mean, we see it with America for 20 years, you know, white guys have been belittled, besmirched, whatever. And now all of a sudden they're like, wow, like 9% of white people voted for Trump. That's weird. It's like, no, it's not weird, dumbasses. You know, you called us evil, and now we're doing shit specifically, you know, because you called us evil.
El Hydra.
How you doing, Leth?
Hey.
Is that Kane from
Yeah.
Bear?
What?
Bear.
Hi.
Not that Bear, the other Bear.
Bear's up there barking and shit.
That joke's never getting
Yeah,
tired,
Steve
man.
Crowder. I don't watch Steve Crowder's whole shows, but I will occasionally watch his clips.
Yeah.
Like he'll have a little clip about something. I'll occasionally
Andrew
watch
Wilson.
Charlie Kirk do his debates
Lucky.
about whatever at universities.
Hey,
Not like the
James.
whole hour-long thing, but I'll watch like a 15-minute thing.
James, have you seen Andrew Wilson on Steve Crowder's?
That was a good interview.
I did
Yeah.
see a clip, and Andrew Wilson was on Steve Crowder, and I was like, wow, you know? That guy really made it big just by being ultra orthodox and being able to
Yeah.
like
Isn't
debate.
he like making
but-
his own like little group now?
The thing with Andrew Wilson, though, with the Crucible and all that fun stuff, is that he's very good at debating idiots. He's not good at debating smart, informed people.
Well, I mean, pick your targets.
Oh,
I mean, he
absolutely.
goes on the Whatever podcast. What is
Well,
on the
if
Whatever
that's the
podcast?
case,
Yeah.
if that's the case, he's got a target-rich environment.
Fuck
Yeah.
does he ever. But like,
But
if you
Bear
see
is
him, like
right.
when he was
You
on
mentioned
Piers
the
Morgan,
Whatever
he just
podcast. There's
I
no
like
rocket
that, guys.
scientists on that podcast.
no. But the thing is that like they bring in these guys to be on the guy side, and they're not that much smarter than the girls to begin with. They're just branding and investing in that fucking Andrew Tate light mentality, which is really exhausting as well. And I think both sides are doing a massive disservice to everyone because they're not presenting rational, interesting conversations. They're just fucking hashing over the same bullshit over and over and over again. We get it. We understand thoughts suck. Men are awesome. Can we move on and talk about something more interesting? But apparently that's what everybody wants.
Hold on.
I saw Andrew Wilson on Piers Morgan, and he really floundered in the lineup against people who knew what the fuck they were talking about. He didn't come off like the dominant boss. He tried to pull his same routine, but it did not fly because these people could fact check him on the spot, you know?
I've said it before, and I say it again. Thoughts are like Walmart back in the day. Everybody disses on it, but you're happy that they're open and you're inside of them at 3 o'clock in the morning.
You're a jerk. But what's that? Okay, what's that black guy who has all this weird biblical study stuff he spews, and then he wound up debating an actual biblical scholar and like wound up just eating shit for the whole fucking debate, to where the biblical scholar actually took his arguments and gave him better stuff to try and make his arguments with, as opposed to the shit he was using.
I don't know. I like that black guy who just hates everybody.
He don't.
Beta.
Hate, you're talking about Jesse Lee Peterson.
I love that guy. Beta.
I'm talking about the guy who's always like, I don't like this. I don't like butterflies, dogs, cats, rats, roaches. I don't like nothing. He's skinny dude with a big chain.
Are you talking about the skinny guy that lives in Louisiana and he's always like responding to shit, and then if it's good he'll be like cap, or if it's not good he'll be like no cap, and like he's always talking about how he's blind. When he does his videos he doesn't wear his glasses, but he's like in real life he can't even see the camera, you know?
I will send you a clip of the dude I'm talking about,
and he'll review people talking shit and he'll just be like, what? But anyway, yeah. Jesse Lee is awesome. And I will say this, Andrew Wilson destroys the thoughts, but I mean, come on, that's not hard. But he pretty much destroyed Destiny too.
Yeah, well, but that's like fucking punching a puppy.
Yeah,
he wrecked Destiny pretty hard.
I also liked it whenever he was debating Chink.
Yeah.
Again, that's like punching a big fat puppy. You know what I mean? Like, Cenk Uger's a moron.
I mean, Chink has been getting owned up by his own co-host lately.
Yes.
Anna's on fire these days. She's figured out what her brand is.
Definitely had a story arc.
Yeah.
After she got attacked on the streets of New York or wherever she was, yeah, her whole story arc changed.
Who is that?
Anna Kasparian.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she was walking down the street and a homeless guy tried to essay her. And her entire attitude about the left and everything immediately flipped.
All her
She come out with
calling
like
her a racist, and she's like, "I didn't even tell you what race he was, and by the way, he was white."
Yeah,
like, it's amazing.
But that was the first thing. You're just being a racist. And he's like,
Just being a racist. I didn't even say his race. What the hell?
Yeah.
But people were already trying to
what's his nephew's name there? That fucking idiot.
Hassan.
That
boy.
fucker.
Don't ever let
Take
me
him up beside the
catch
woodshed
that
and
pile of
introduce him to a
shit.
switch. What? Sorry, was
Tom
that Bruce?
Piker's not just an idiot. He's a terrorist.
Well, that's what Nuxanor says. He's up to Hassan Piker's 490% effed.
Yep.
He's got a critically acclaimed whole series about Hassan Piker, who apparently interviewed a Houthi terrorist and is constantly talking about how much he supports the Houthis and Hezbollah, and how it's okay to kill little kids in Israel because communist kids are a thing. It's like that dude's going to end up in jail is what's going to happen to him because
you hear the thing with AOC, she called up the feds and asked if they're doing an investigation on her, which of course they said no, because the feds are always going to be like honest with you. If they're doing an open investigation on you, they're going to be like, why yes we are, we're checking out all of your stuff.
Oh
I
man,
could just see that phone call. What was your name, Miss? Andrea Ocasio-Cortez. Hold on, let me get this in the computer. Check out this thick ass Latina.
oh, she was
I
mad
bet you
at
Bruce
somebody
is thick
because
would
they
love
said
this.
if she was 60 and not as attractive as she is, no one would give a shit what she had to say. She got mad.
I'm enjoying watching the mainstream media completely pretend that no one's killing anyone in South Africa because the South African government said so.
Yeah.
That's my favorite fucking take on this whole thing is watching them be like, the South African government has said that this isn't
Well,
happening.
Bear,
Yeah.
Bear.
And the Nazi government said they weren't doing anything bad to anybody
Bear.
too. Like, what's wrong with you fucking people?
Let me tell you, this is a time-long tradition. Remember when the New York Times said the Holodomor wasn't happening?
What wasn't happening?
The Holodomor.
When the Soviets were murdering all the kulaks
Oh, okay. Yeah.
back in the 20s and 30s. The New York Times actually had a guy on the ground in the Soviet Union who was sending letters back to the New York Times talking about it was a people's paradise and everyone was happy and shit. And while he was sending those letters back, they actually were genociding 20 million people. And
So
he
this
knew
is-
it. He was there.
So this whole denying genocide isn't a new thing for our
Yeah, it's not
our
anything
media.
for the New York Times. They do it all the time. But
Well, South Africa's special anyway. They wanted all the certain people, farmers, to leave, and when they did, they found out that they have no infrastructure.
well, it's not South Africa that did that, actually.
No, the South Africans didn't want them to leave. They wanted to genocide them.
Right. The country you're thinking about, Hungar, not them trying to be, that actually guy, we called it Rhodesia.
Yep.
It's now called Zimbabwe. And they decided they wanted all the Europeans out. And the Europeans, in that case, didn't get genocided. They finally just said, fine, we'll leave. And
Yeah,
they
there
gave
was-
all
there
the
was- no,
shit
there were
to
some
the
murders
natives, and
first.
they just left.
No,
Yeah,
dude, there were some
Zimbabwe
hardcore murders.
immediately
A
collapsed.
few years ago, they told all the farmers to leave South Africa, and South Africa left and made their own little area for
Well,
themselves.
There's
And-
still farm killings and shit, and the second most powerful political party in South Africa is dancing up and down in the middle of freaking arenas, screaming, "Kill the Boer, kill the farmers."
That guy.
So,
Oh my God, that guy.
and they interview him and
Holy
give him a
shit.
chance to not sound like a maniac, and he still sounds like a maniac. He doubles down.
Yeah.
Well, he's like, I'm not saying we need to kill them all now, but perhaps in the future at some point and shit. Like, it's like, wait a minute, what?
Wait a minute.
And now they're threatening. Now a lot of people are threatening the refugees from South Africa over here in America. A lot of Americans.
No, it's a lot of a certain kind of Americans, like that black chick on CNN who was saying, why did they have to come here? They should have sent them to Germany.
Yeah, I love that now for the Democrats, go back to where you came from is acceptable.
Right. Right.
Exactly.
Of course, like we talked about there, Day Bear, they didn't come from Germany. They're swamp
No,
Germans.
they're Dutch and
They're
English.
Dutch. So it's like,
Yeah, somebody pointed that out on CNN. They're like, actually, they're Dutch.
but the point is, what Bear said was an absolutely correct and amazing statement. The Democrats have went from, let's bring people in here, we love everybody, it would be a bad to send anyone back, to go back to where you came from, bastards. It's like,
Well, mask off moment. I mean, Trump makes them take their mask off all the time.
What?
it's kind of like, I remember a time when the Democrats were the ones that were anti-war.
I just think this
And
is
now
me.
all they want is war all the time with
I just-
everybody.
Bro, me personally, I think that if the president said that oxygen was good for you, that the Democrats would start an anti-oxygen campaign.
Oh my god, I would want to watch this so much.
They would start holding their breath just to try and prove him wrong.
Yeah.
God, this needs to happen.
It's sad, is what it is, guys. It's just sad.
Saudi went all out and said Trump was the president of the world.
And
Well,
what's
I mean,
funny
the
is that
Japanese love him. Apparently, the Saudi Arabians, who I am not a huge fan of,
not just you, not just
love Trump, though.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of him either. But they gave him a big freaking when he came over. He had like
They
They-
glazed the shit out of him. They
Hold on.
had a mobile McDonald's built so that Trump could have his requisite Big Mac and Diet Coke whenever he wanted.
Hold on. We have to also remember that this wasn't really let's placate Trump. This is a dick measuring contest between Qatar and Saudi Arabia.
Oh, did
Trump
you
is
see
just
what
a pawn.
Qatar did when Trump visited?
Didn't they give him a plane?
Yeah, they gave him a plane. A
Yeah, but
400
when he visited, they escorted him down the main street of their thing to their giant palace. And I mean
Yeah.
a giant palace, right?
and they had
And
jets.
there were like 100
sword
horses,
dancers.
100 soldiers on camelback, like a shit ton of dudes doing some kind of weird Middle Eastern dance with sabers, and then red, white, and blue painted Tesla trucks. And then, of course, Trump in the Beast, surrounded by like, it was nuts. It was like they are treating this guy like he's the king of the world. And yes, though, Bruce, I do agree because Qatar and Saudi Arabia, not huge, not very fond of each other
No, they're not.
because it's the Sunni versus Shia thing.
Correct.
A lot of people, like even Muslims, like to say that Islam has never been changed, etc., etc. But there's like 20 versions of Islam.
There's a lot of division there.
There's a lot of division there, and Sunnis hate Shia more than they hate basically anyone else, and vice versa.
Sunnis and Shias don't get along well. Wahhabi is the one that I'm always working.
Trump did blindside everybody when he lifted the embargo on Syria without telling anybody who was going to do it. He's like, "Oops, UN, don't look." Whoops.
Well, and everybody was rightly saying, dude, the guy who's ruling Syria now was a terrorist leader.
Is Bashar Assad still part of Syria or no?
No, he had to flee to France, I think. But
Why am I not surprised, and why is it France?
they all flee to France.
Yeah.
It's like it's the thing. If you're the leader of a country and your country gets overthrown and you're the president, you take all your money, you go to France. But what people who are smarter than your average bear said, and I don't mean our bear, I mean the average bear, is like, okay, so the guy was the leader of a terrorist organization, and now he's the president of a country. So are we not going to talk to him? I mean, now you got to talk to him. When he was the leader of a terrorist group, you could have tried to, smart bomb him out of existence. But now he's the president of a whole other country.
Get it?
You got to deal with him now. And since Trump is not really wanting to go to war with anyone in the Middle East, yeah, that means you got to talk to the guy, whether you like him or not. It don't mean you love him.
No.
It don't mean you agree with anything he had to say. It just means that, geopolitics is a lot bigger than any. I mean, people want to act like geopolitics is like three guys in a corner talking. Hey, you're doing that was the Boy Scout thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
that
just
is
me
maybe odds
It's
ever
just
being
me
your
wanting
favorite.
attention. Let's go back to talking about Bruce's dick.
Hey,
I would much rather talk about geopolitics than Bruce's dick.
I don't know.
Talk
Bruce's
about
dick
role
might be
playing.
interesting.
I mean, 3 or 4 minutes, for like the third time, fourth time, that's pretty good.
This
But,
motherfucker dragging going more than once and longer than 3 minutes is just like that's just hateful, Bruce.
No, it's not. That's called being efficient, my friend.
That's
Yeah,
called
Eric.
too much Viagra.
The first time
Yeah,
I want to go
that-
20 minutes or 30 minutes, and after that, I'm just trying to get the fucking kids out of the bag.
You know what? I am what's it called when the president does it? I'm going to go ahead and
Bruce.
boycott this whole thing. This is over. We're not doing this.
Bruce got him a
conversation's being
Viagra t-shirt he wears.
What did I do? God damn it.
What's it
Bruce,
called when somebody tries to pass a law and the president tells them to get fucked?
veto.
Yeah, I'm vetoing this.
Bruce's dick. We're vetoing Bruce's dick.
We're
Yes.
vetoing this whole thing. what you painting, Bruce? It looks good. I like the colors on it.
I just got this Etsy chick, and I've been working on her a little bit. She looks like a Reaper fig. She's not. I'll have to get you the link for this.
It looks like a Pokemon. Who's that Pokemon?
Her sword broke. That's the part about it that pisses me off. I'm probably going to trim that off and try to just put on a small piece of plastic, a transparent piece of plastic to fix that. But yeah, I'm working on getting the colors right because I keep seeing her as like some sort of evoker magus.
Yeah, that is the problem with 3D printing. Certain resins are incredibly brittle. Like I use the ultra tough stuff, so it flexes a bit. But even that stuff, if you're too rough with it, it's going to break. You know. Which
The guy-
I'll tell you what. Where is it? I needed to show it to you, Bruce. I have the Reaper baby dragon painting a dragon egg, the Easter figure they had.
I've got that fig. It's somewhere over here.
If you look really close at it, you can tell it's 3D printed because it has supports on it.
All of the stuff is 3D printed. When I first started up today's stream, I was pulling the supports off this guy.
Right. It's so wild because they've decided, F it, we're just going 3D print shit.
I mean,
I don't know if they're doing all their figures that way, but some of them I've had to pull supports off of, and I'm like, okay, all right, you do you.
Well, everybody, I'm going to go get something to eat.
I didn't mean to
See ya.
bore you.
Okay, go get something to eat.
Already ate. Bye.
Bye, buddy.
Bye.
They've got different types of plastics and resins they're selling now. And when you go on their plastic figures, you've got the Bones plastic, Reaper Legends plastic, Dungeon Dwellers plastic, Bones USA plastic, and Bones Black plastic, the Chronoscope plastic, and Pathfinder plastic. But really, I think the Bones USA plastic and Bones Black plastic, the black plastic is a plastic that I'm having a hard time playing with because you got to wash it and then throw a crappy prime color on top of it to get any paint to adhere to it. But that's the one that's problematic, and it doesn't have supports. I've never had supports on these guys, but on that little dragon that you were talking about, on this figure here, he still has the 3D print supports on him.
Right.
So,
well, I mean,
One second.
I like Bones Black a lot. The Bones Black is cool. It kind of looks like a lizard woman. I don't know, maybe.
It's the lusty Argonian maid.
I don't know. I'd have to pull up the Etsy account again and copy and paste that. And right now, I don't want to foul with my my keyboard. I want to paint.
Right.
I'm sorry, guys. I'll do something later, and I'll throw up some links or something.
Some pictures of your junk.
Yeah, please don't.
No.
See, I got
Just
this.
one shadow show.
You've got the kitty.
I do. That's me over here messing with that kitty.
Now, there's a module or a book that Frog God Games put out like 8 years ago called The Sword of Air. And it starts off, and you're supposed to have the players go meet up with these two wizards that are having a duel. He's nice.
Yeah, it's a Pomeranian standing up on its hind legs like,
Give me a treat. Well, at one of the wizards, he's got a cat, and they call it Steve the Cat. Steve the Cat is a what is it? Is it a Hezro demon with the pig face and the little bitty wings?
yeah.
He's one of those, polymorphed, and he's got a spell of non-detection up, so you can't really tell he's a big fucking demon. And he accompanies the players around as they search for this artifact sword, trying to stop the rod of the world. And it's a neat story mechanic, but the book is not written like a typical adventure path. It's got a lot of side quests and things that you can do on your way, and they don't really know how to write an adventure path back 8 years ago at Fraud God Games. They just threw all the encounters that they had during play and just put that on paper. The players will figure it out. The judge will figure it out. They're such an old school company. They didn't use the word DM. They said the judge or referee will figure this out on their own.
Right.
And they have that, and it's a real neat book. Could take you from 1st to 20th, but the poor guy running it is going to have like a small meltdown, kind of like the guy that was doing the prosthetic effects for the movie The Thing.
Mhm.
At the very end, he has to bring in Stan Winston to finish the movie up so he can go to the hospital and get hydrated back again. Shadow, I've got plenty of metal figs in a box behind me.
Good old Shadow. He's
I'm
gonna.
surprised you didn't jump on here.
He's got to say.
You working tonight, Bruce?
I am.
Too bad. I might be going doing a chill stream after 10 p.m.
I might have to
Shadow.
listen to it. I listened to your show from last week on your Wednesday night D&D. The second adventure that you played. You thought it was your third adventure of D&D, but it was your second.
I'm busy and life is hard, and I'm old. My brain doesn't remember things. I did
Hey,
way too much pot when I was younger.
Shadow remembers when he had to carve his D&D figures out of stone.
Yeah,
Shadow
right.
remembers when dinosaurs roamed the earth and Neanderthals were eating humans. Please.
Exactly, that's the time I'm talking about.
Well, he remembers because most of his players were Neanderthals.
Yes.
It's true say.
He's like, hey, you guys want to play a game? They're like, all right.
I was listening to Double D this today after I got done with Bear's show, and Double D was just having a fit listening to old Crooked Joe from Goodman Games. Like, I felt so sorry for Double D and everybody else. I could fast forward through it, but I was just like, wow, I never want to hear Joe Goodman talk again.
Well, here's what was weird. There was a 3-person panel, Joe Goodman, some other dude, and the third dude. And the third dude, for the whole time they were talking, never said anything.
Nope.
He was,
Nope,
just
he was
like,
They
there.
never asked him a question. They never looked at him. And it was basically Goodman and the other retard just like self-flagellating each other about how
I was the son of a black man. I was a
Bledsoe
communist.
Jr. said something racist, 20 years ago or something, and now they're going to do the Castle of the Invincible Overlord, but they got to make sure everyone knows that they're not racist
Yeah.
before they do the thing. And it's like, nobody believes you guys. I know I don't. I mean, if they really had the principles they're trying to convince everyone they have, they just wouldn't do it. But instead, they're like, "Oh, we're super not racist, but we're still going to make a shit ton of money." Trying to put this thing out.
My
It's
stance
like,
is
get
the
out of
same.
here.
It doesn't matter if it's Joe Goodman or if it's some other communist out there. That we're going to market something that is not our property, but we've got it because we can. And what we're going to do is we're going to just virtue signal our way to the end of the Kickstarter. And it doesn't matter if we're doing Judges Guild, which was Bob Bledsoe's baby, but she was a pretty big Democrat in Macon County, Illinois. I can tell you that for certain. But or if it was Evil Hat Games, besmirching the fact that how dare H.P. Lovecraft call his cat what he did. I can't say that on James's stream. I'm sorry, guys.
Backman.
And the thing is that
Nebuchadnezzar.
yeah, they have a problem with these people that were not born today. They were born over 100 years ago. But we're still going to fucking take that hundreds of thousands of dollars in profit and drive away in our Prius or whatever. What do you let your car that the communist drives nowadays? Oh wait, that's got to be candle powered because no communist lives with electricity. Fuck those guys.
Bruce. I do agree though with when it comes to the Lovecraft thing, you have these people that are ultra whatever, but they want to put out a Lovecraft game, and then they spend the first 3 pages trying to disassociate themselves from Lovecraft. And it's like, you don't got to do that, guys. We're all adults. We all understood. The guy was born in 1800 something.
Yeah.
You know, things were a little bit different back then.
Completely different.
You know, yeah, Evil Hat is the one that called Venger Satanis a Christian fundamentalist, a far right wing Christian fundamentalist.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, nice. You know, like,
Bruce, did you see my rant from this morning?
Not yet.
you had a rant this morning? I need to see
Yeah,
that.
I made a video called "I Feel Like I'm Taking Crazy Pills."
I think we all are.
Did
They must be putting it in the water.
The
was
world has taken crazy pills.
Was it aimed at me and Raven for making you go woo woo down the rabbit hole, or what?
No, though, it's all about my feeling on the insane behavior of role-playing people today, and how they all fucking keep fighting over stupid shit, and how they're all investing their egos and their identities into a fucking game that's meant to be playing make-believe. And I just kind of lost my shit a little bit of being tired of all the negativity. But I'm just tired of all the negativity. Because basically I made a video a couple weeks ago called Play the Game. And it was just talking about just play the fucking game. You know, play the fucking game. Well, some guy put out a video today called Play the Damn Game, and one of my guys posted it on the Discord, so I went to look at it, and it's this fucking nerd essentially explaining how life is struggle and you have to earn each thing as you go, learning step. And I'm like, fucking role-playing games are not life guides. They're not fucking, Jesus Christ. Like, the fuck is wrong with people these days, man?
If your D&D session or whatever game you choose to play session is a struggle, you're doing it wrong. It should be drinking Mountain Dew and eating Doritos and having a good
Have
time.
fun.
And roll dice and celebrate the criticals and celebrate the fumbles and laugh and tell stories that 20 years from now you'll remember when you get together with your friends. Remember that time we were fighting the harpies and you said, I think I can fuck them. And that didn't work out, Bruce. And you know, yeah, I did. Oh my God. Oh fuck. You know, that's the fun part about our hobby, is that we get to create shared memories and experiences together, not have a struggle session, not be in therapy, not identify ourselves and our value as a human being by how well we played D&D, for fuck's sake. And then argue over which
Why does
version
it
of
all have
D&D
to
we
be a
play.
godforsaken struggle session? Why do I need, whenever I'm looking for content to listen to for the next 40 minutes while I suck out a trap, am I going through 40 videos
Wow.
of some therapist?
There's so many places with
You
that.
missed the phrasing on that one completely. I know.
Fucking 50
Crazy.
fucking, like
She ain't packing. Bruce ain't interested.
oh God.
Sucking those traps, huh,
working actor
Bruce?
in here because obviously you guys are thinking about something else from fucking Ladyboy.
You need to
Land.
look up traps on like
Yeah, you need to get a plane ticket to
fucking
Thailand. is what you
Urban
need.
Dictionary.
I've been.
Because a
I-
trap is like someone that looks like a
I've been in
woman.
Naples. I know what a trap is.
Okay, then. Well, you're sucking out traps all of a
But
sudden.
we are sucking out traps. You know what my job is? I got a whole fucking phone.
I know
full
what
of
your
fucking-
job is, but that's not funny. But insinuating that you're sucking
You're
out
having-
traps
you're
the
blowing
other way, that's
traps.
kind of
That's
hilarious.
fucking hilarious.
All right,
It's
here's the septic porn. Here's all the fucking septic porn that my phone. Nothing but fucking traps and traps before and traps after and traps and traps and traps.
All
and
I see is that
Traps,
Bruce
traps.
seems to be obsessed with manholes.
He used to be obsessed with manholes that have shit in them.
I mean, Bruce,
takes the
you're
shit
not
out
helping your
there.
case, bro.
Traps.
You pay me 38 cents a gallon, I'll take out the shit.
I'm just saying you're not helping yourself out.
You're not making a case.
My story, Bear, is
Still make money on
remember
it.
the
I don't
time
give
we
a
were
shit what
playing
you
Middle
guys
Earth
say.
role playing, and we were in Moria, and the orcs and the cave troll charged, and you, my, long past best friend, critted with your crossbow and pinned your foot to the floor so you couldn't move, and the troll killed you, and everybody was just like, "What the f?" Because I used to, believe it or not, yes, I was a huge Rollmaster fan, especially the MERPS simplified version, but any Rollmaster. I actually ran against the Dark Master And other than a few things I didn't like, I thought they did a great job. They did a great job capturing that old school MERPS type feeling. I have the brand new Rollmaster books. And other than the fact that I think a lot of the races they put in the game were stupid or should have been in like another book, like here's all the furries for you idiots or whatever. I would run Rollmaster because I never thought it was that hard. But anyway, getting on. Yeah, too many people. Like, here's what my response was going to be to you, Bear. I'll tell you. I kind of miss the days when we were all in the closet when it come to being gamers. You know, like gaming wasn't popular. It wasn't a lifestyle choice. It was just some nerdy dudes that kind of hung out and rolled dice. And, you know, it didn't mean anything.
I fully fucking agree.
But I mean, anyone, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again, anyone who defines himself by the fact that they're a gamer, it's like sucking out traps is not as bad as sucking off traps. Jeff to the rescue, Bruce. I think that's kind of weird because when I think of myself as like a husband, you know, a dork that wanders around the house. You know, like gaming is there because I think about gaming a lot during the day, but it's like I'm a lot of other things, you know. I walk my dog and talk to my neighbor about army shit because he's a retiree, and you know, I mean, you know, I talk to Bruce about the Navy, and I mean, gaming is there, but let's think about it. We all are gamers. We love gaming, but when we all get together, we talk about gaming 25% of the time, maybe, and just other shit, you know, because
and
we're
just almost like
some
during
dudes.
the game too is 25% actual game talk, and then 35 to 75% bullshitting about everything else.
Right. I mean, because we're dudes and that's what we do. You know, none of us here define ourselves by whatever role-playing game we play, and this whole it's a struggle and no, get out of here. You're playing a game. Your character didn't die.
It's when I hear stupid shit like it's not on your character sheet, it's in your head. Shut the fuck up. It's on my character sheet right beside my strength stat. What are you, stupid? Like, stop acting like this is a fucking. What are you talking about? You know, if my character has an ability in the game I'm playing, I'm gonna fucking use the ability because it's on my character sheet. Stop acting like this is some fucking endurance struggle session where you have to be the most creative fucker in the world. Like, stop.
Bear, it's not on your character sheet. It's in your heart.
Well, you play Palladium, don't you? No, you play RuneQuest. It's definitely on your character sheet.
Along with everything else, like your astrological sign.
Oh my god, yeah.
No, there's no astrological
sign. And I say that as a BRP lover.
Yeah, there is actually.
I love these games where when you're creating your character, you have to figure out how many brothers and sisters you have, if your mom and dad's still alive, etc. That way, when the dungeon master mercilessly kills you off, you have an option to continue an arc of revenge by rolling up one of the siblings or the parents. That's great.
Oh wow, that's a different way that I've always had. You know, you making the family so the DM could kill your family.
Well, there is that too, as we learned from the original gamers. No, it was at the fields of so and so when Nimbo's sister got murdered, and he's all like, "No." Yeah, I don't wear my hobbies on my sleeve. Sometimes I do wear them on my chest though, because I have some of those OSE shirts. So I'll walk out, and every now and then, people, yeah, I love that. We were not here. We did not say this.
So you know, in that scene when they're bringing in the 4th stage Guild Navigator,
right?
There's an extra in the back you can see kind of stagger before the thing goes by him. The apparatus ran over his foot and crushed it, right? And the joke on set after was, when a 4th stage Guild Navigator enters the room, get the fuck out of the way.
I would agree with that. Even though the way he did it was weird, because in the book they looked more like weird fish things.
I liked it.
You know what? I did too. He changed some shit around. I could have done without the sonic weapons, but a lot of shit he did was really cool.
I like the sonic weapons because I just don't want to see guys doing kata in the middle of the desert and like having some other guy like 100 yards away explode in a creative way. I don't want to see kata for old people over here and this guy.
Well, in the book, the Weirding Way was basically the easiest way to say is it was kung fu.
Yes.
Some kind of hand-to-hand martial art training that the Bene Gesserit did. And that was all it was. So when the Fremen, who were already tough bastards, now all of a sudden they're hey Cody, now all of a sudden they're learning all this hand-to-hand martial arts shit in addition to what they already knew. Yeah. And remember, they had to use knives because if some idiot hit another idiot with a las gun and the target idiot was wearing a shield, it would go up like a nuke. And nobody wanted that. You know what I mean? So it was like, yeah, they had las guns that could cut you in half at 3 miles away. But if you had a shield on, you know, there was, I mean, the one thing about Frank Herbert, he might have been a crazy hippie. He might have done a lot of drugs, whatever. I don't know. But his universe made sense. Like every part of it goes together. It's like there's nothing just hanging out.
Yeah, there's nothing that really is out of place. But he also, like, he took a lot of good real world influences from his time in Saudi Arabia and area and of studies he had. I don't know if he actually went there and spent time in Saudi Arabia, but there's a lot of Middle Eastern politics all throughout Dune.
Well, I mean, yeah, the Fremen originally were Sufi mystic Egyptians that had been ran out of wherever they lived because of their religious beliefs. And they'd been forced to migrate all over the damn universe until they ended up on Arrakis, and nobody wanted it because they didn't know about spice at the time. So they just left them alone. So they do have some very strong Islamic influence. But one thing people don't understand if they don't know about it, the Orange Catholic Bible is a blend of the Quran and Roman Catholicism. It's both because the word Catholic is just Latin for united. So you know what I mean? It was like somehow Islam and Christianity, Roman Catholicism specifically, had become one religion.
Well,
so that's why there's a lot of that stuff there.
So the idea is that the Orange Catholic faith is the culmination of all Abrahamic faith, right? So
Right.
It's Judaism, Islam, and Christianity all fused together into one, taking the commonalities between the two and the best. It's a really neat idea, right? I can't remember if the Zen Sunni mystics, though, were part of it or not. That's the thing I never remember.
They weren't.
They did their own thing, right?
They were their own thing, which is why they were oppressed. And to a very small degree, in the Dune catalog or whatever he wrote that explains stuff, the Orthodox Christian Church still existed. It was just very small. And typically the Orange Catholic Church ignored it. But Paul Atreides becomes a saint of the Orthodox Church, and they start doing processions holding up the big flag of the icon of Paul Atreides. You know what I mean? So it gets really weird. And he also says there's some planets where there's still enclaves of like actual Jewish people who are still going to synagogue, still doing their thing. But they're very minor, and typically they exist because the Orange Catholic Church is like, whatever, you know, they don't care. But, you know, yeah, the Sunni mystics were like, they were Islamic with a little bit of Zen Buddhism thrown in, which you could throw Zen Buddhism in with any religion. And I mean, because Zen Buddhism isn't really a religion, it's more of a philosophy. But that's why it was during a weird time. It was like 20,000 years plus before current era. And you have to remember that when it says it is the year whatever. Okay. From when though? because like it's not the year whatever from 2020, it's the year whatever from God only knows, because you know what I mean? We don't even know. They know Earth is still a thing. It's just such a minor world. No one gives a shit. You know, no one cares about Earth. There's nothing going on Earth. There's no spice. There's no major houses or trade or anything there. So it's like, who cares?
Earth is probably a husk at this point. It's supposed to be the year 10,000 something or other.
Yeah, but 10,000 something or other from when is the question.
It's not 10,000 from now. It's 10,191. Year of Padishah Emperor the Shaddam the Fourth. But it's like that's 5,000 years from today or something. It's like it's almost like the year 17,000 or some shit. I can't remember. There's actual a number you can find where it explains it and you know where it is, but it's not. Yeah, there's a couple thousand years of chaos before they got to the Landsrad.
Well, there's the Butlerian Jihad that went down.
Yeah.
I mean, all kinds of shit that happened, and their concept of time. There's a whole period of time when they destroyed all the computers, and then no one knew anything about anything because all the data was stored on the computer. So humanity literally had to create mutants so that they could reestablish society, because they had went directly into a dark age for a very long period of time. And the whole thing is with starships, without having the mutants that guide the starships, that can do mathematical equations instantaneously and see the future, basically. Like 1 in every 3 starships would just get destroyed every time you sent it out. That's why they had to have the engineers, because a normal human could plot in a course and hit the freaking drives, but there was a huge chance that they'd go through a sun or something and be dead. So, you know, the whole point of the engineers, their prescience allows them to avoid that.
I'm just now having a flashback to playing West End Games' D6 Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
And if I roll a 15 or better on my astrogation roll, we probably we'll get there slow. If I roll over a 30 on these D6s, we'll get there faster and safely. But if these D6s in my hand roll like typically, we're going to die.
Well, there's a reason for that. You know what that is?
Astrogation no bueno.
Traveling through hyperspace ain't like dusting crops, boy. Without precise calculations, you could fly right through a star, bounce too close to a supernova, and that'd end your trip real quick.
Yeah. So, yeah, and Bruce, I know you remember that in D6 West End Games Star Wars, if you were trying to input astrogation information while in the middle of a firefight, it upped the target number significantly.
30 minimum 30.
And if you tried to jump when you're too close to a sun and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Traveler's the same way. In order to even try to safely jump a starship in Traveler, you have to be 100 diameters from any gravity well. If you're near any gravity well within 100 diameters, your chance of vanishing into the warp or J space or whatever you want to call it goes up significantly. You know, hey Doc, how you doing, man?
Use the Force, James.
We played Space Master.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you know about Rollmaster and how, like, during combat things can happen, and you could render yourself completely broken by your own attack roll and incompetence or whatever factors of luck you want to attribute to this.
You could pin your foot to the floor with the crossbow bolt and then stand there immobile while a cave troll runs up and smashes your skull in.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've seen it happen.
So we were playing Space Master. One of the few times I got to go out with my friends and try something in my high school years that wasn't D&D or Star Wars. We went to this game store not too far from where I lived in Decatur, and the guy was running Space Master that night. So we took some pre-gen characters, and we were playing. And about hour 3, it was time to try to jumped to hyperspace or whatever stood for hyperspace in Space Master, and the die roll went off. That came up like a 18 on the die,
Uh-oh.
an 18 on the D100,
Yep.
and
Because you need a 100 for success minimum.
Yeah. And all the bonuses tallied up to something like a 75, which the guy was a relatively talented person, but just this one time he didn't clear the gravity well of the little moon that we didn't notice on sensors. And the GM had all this stuff written out, had everything gridded out, even had props and maps and diagrams on the table. But my first time playing, I'm not really good at this. And I'm like 17. So I want you to just quarter my intelligence of what I've got right now and 1/3 of my ability to talk to people. So I really was just like a little blob of a human being. I wasn't really fully formed yet. And
well, I mean, males are stupider when they're at that age.
yes,
That's a fact.
So the entire party died because of that die roll. And my friend, the next day at school, he didn't come to school because he didn't want to hear it, which we weren't going to give him any grief because, at the time, we're not telling people we're going to game stores and playing knockoff D&D games or whatever is out there. I was upset that they didn't play Star Wars. I wanted to play Star Wars, but okay, we'll play Space Master. And Space Master was kind of fun, but it really wasn't as fun as Star Wars, in my opinion. Star Wars is space opera, and Space Master felt like it was trying very hard to be kind of a hard sci-fi, which I'm not really a big fan of. I want to be. I don't have the capacity to understand hard sci-fi to be able to appreciate it and manipulate it to where I can actually be useful.
See, there's hard sci-fi where everything works and it's kind of cool. And then there's Space Master, where if you want to design a starship, you're going to be using advanced mathematics because you have to figure out the cubic space of everything based on the weight of 1 ton of hydrogen and shit like that. It's just like it was too much. Space Master was too much, and again, you had the same problem I've talked about before. If you're running Rollmaster and the characters do some crazy shit, no one even blinks an eye. But if you're playing Space Master and the characters want to do something, now you have to explain, advanced physics and gravity theory because they want to know why. That's sci-fi versus fantasy. It's just the way it is.
I'm more of a fan of the fantasy.
Yeah, and Space Master was just freaking complicated for no reason. I mean, it was kind of cool, though. The critical charts for, like, fusion guns and shit. That's kind of funny. But, I mean, it's a game where you spend an hour and a half making a character. You get killed in one shot. And then you're like, wow, okay.
That happened. Oh, well.
And that's why for sci-fi, my go-to game when I was young, at least, become Classic Traveler. Because making a character in that game is fun because you got the whole life path thing. And it's crunchy, but it's not so crunchy that you have to have an advanced degree in some sort of engineering or something to figure out how shit works. Yeah, way too much math in that. And it's like, like if you want to build a starship in Traveler, you got High Guard. It's like step 1, pick the hull, tonnage. Step 2, put an engine in it. Step 3, put a power plant in it. Step 4, put everything else in it.
You got your hard points, blah, blah, blah.
Right. Depending on the size of the ship, you have X amount of hard points. I mean, it's actually really kind of easy to do. And some people have actually made computer programs, where you can just input numbers and come out with whatever. But yeah, those. I mean, it's so weird too because it worked in Rollmaster fine. You know, like the the Chandler channels, an ice bolt at somebody. Okay, roll die 100. You got 153. So you hit them, you did 12 damage plus, a C crit on the ice chart. Boom, they rolled the die, and you're like, okay, so this happened. And then you go to the next person. And, some people are like, oh man, chart master. Well, a secret I learned when I got older and had access is you print out the crit charts and the weapon damage charts and give them to the players so that you don't have to constantly flip around between, blunt / pierce, whatever. If a character is using a sword, he can roll the die and tell you what he did.
Yep.
Yeah. See, in Traveler, the way combat works is the range bands, because it's like space is 3-dimensional. Therefore, the only thing that really matters is distance. It doesn't matter. You're not on a lateral plane. You could be coming from the top down or any, so it's distance. And then, of course, the most important guy on the bridge of the starship, in my opinion, is whoever the sensor operator is. Because if you can never get the sensor operator to get a lock on to whatever you're trying to fight with, then you just, the chances of hitting it are so small.
You're fucked.
Plus, you don't even know what you're shooting at. Yep. All you know is there's a blip out there. An energy signature moving somewhere. It's like, so you need a good sensor operator to be able to, I mean, it's just like real life submarine combat. The sonar guy needs to know what the hell's out there so that the torpedo guys can launch shit at it. And that's kind of Traveler combat. So, yeah. But yeah, Shark and Cody, I agree. I like Rollmaster. I've got classic Rollmaster, but I got the new Rollmaster they just recently came out with, and it's good. I just don't like all the weird races they added, like the bird people and the people that have human bodies but like deer heads and stuff like that. Not a fan. Now, all that said, I'm going to go eat. My wife ordered us some Italian food.
Sounds
I'm
really
a fan
good.
of Italian food, so I'm going to have to end this. But the good news is that hopefully Bear will be doing his thing later.
Yeah, I'm probably at 10 p.m. I should be done on my work by then.
So you guys have a wonderful day. And remember, role-playing is not your personality.
Yes.
And if it's a struggle, you're doing it wrong. Go out and play some bocce ball. I don't know if you guys ever play bocce ball. I love that game.
Really?
Yeah, like where you throw the one ball out and then you got all the colored balls that you try to get as close to it as you can.
Yes.
I love that. That's such a great outside game.
Isn't that just lawn bowling?
It is.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, kind of, yeah. But I think
wrong
it's
with
an
lawn
Italian
bowling.
game. I think
It's
Italian
huge.
invented it. But
It's huge here in Montreal. We have actual bocce ball courts in some neighborhoods because of the amount of Italians that live there.
yeah, I love that game. I've got my wife 2 years ago bought me this big professional set with nice, the colored wooden balls and everything like that. And yeah, you just go out in the backyard with your friends and have beer and throw balls at, the target. Yeah, that
Sounds
sounds
like Bruce's perfect weekend.
right. But anyway, peace and love
Hey,
to all of you. I'll catch you later.
Don't play with traps.
Yeah.